Manchester United's new goalkeeper, Senne Lammens, has made quite the impression in training and on the pitch, and the players' reaction says it all. We're going to talk about Le Mans. We're going to talk about a couple of other people as well. Diego Leon, the new summer signing, what's going on with him. We're going to talk about one academy midfielder that is rated very highly in his training. With the first team, we'll talk about the academy. But in today's 10-minute news show, we're going to talk about Senne Lammens and the impact that he's having already at Manchester United. Now, I will clarify he's had one game, one very good game. We could be sitting here in 6 months' time saying we need a new goalkeeper. I'm not saying Lammens is the answer, but what I am saying is he's been very impressive in what we've seen so far. It's early days, but let's be careful not to overhype him because this is Manchester United. Good players come in, they don't end up being good players. But I think we're allowed to get excited and we're allowed to be positive because we've not had loads to be positive about. And I saw Peter Schmeichel say this. I think his confidence grew during his debut. You could see from the first cross, Matthias de Ligt's reaction was fantastic. Defenders want that when you're under the cosh and you've got someone to take the pressure off. And absolutely spot on by Schmeichel. The player's face when Lammens is there claiming a cross. Like it's simple things that a top goalie should do, but Lammens coming out and actually claiming a cross and making a good save, it has the players shocked. De Ligt's reaction was like it has the players like really happy and really like get in, yes, yes, yes. Like De Ligt was so happy, and it's like because we've been starved of this as a fan base. The fact that Lammens claimed two crosses, one of them was really good, by the way, and I'm up there watching the game clapping because I've seen a goalkeeper claim some crosses, and also when the goalkeeper saved the ball, rather than saving it and pushing it right back into our penalty box for the opposition to tap it in, he saved the ball and actually palmed it and tried to palm it out of play. The players are going to see that and go, wow, we've got a keeper behind us. The players are going to grow in confidence. The players were so happy with what they were seeing from the Mons on the pitch, actually coming out and doing this and coming out and doing that, and the big kick to Sesko and the claims. Like, the players were actually happy. And Mason Mount said some interesting things that on Le Mans that I want to get into. And this is what Mason Mount said after the game. Any danger of them pressing, he puts it into Ben Sesko and we work off that. I think Hielemans kind of released that pressure today. Mason Mount talks about the pressure being sort of released with Senne Lammens there. He was taking the pressure off players. I'm going to take you back to the Europa League final. There was a moment in the Europa League final where Lenny Yoro was going to get the ball and clear it, and then Onana was telling Lenny Yoro to leave it, but then Onana wasn't picking up the ball. And there was a bit of miscommunication between Onana and Yoro in that final. Onana was also pretty poor in the Europa League final. Bayindir just gets pushed off the ball so softly, Arsenal go 1-0 up through a corner. Bayindir probably should have saved the third goal versus Brentford. Mason Mount is saying already there's a bit of pressure being lifted off the Midlands because when he's under pressure, he's kind of kicking it up to Sesko and he's helping in that aspect. And that's a big thing for Mason Mount to say. The Ligt's reaction of happiness when Lammens is claiming a cross. I don't think people realise the small things that Lammens could do to improve the team. It's not just being a goalkeeper, but all of these things that Lammens will bring will make the defenders ahead of him more confident and make the players around him more confident. If he's claiming crosses instantly, there's being less shots on goal, so we're going to concede less. Like, maybe it's a coincidence, but our first clean sheet came with Lammens' first start. Claiming crosses means they're not going to be heading it in, they're not going to be having shots on goals, and when he claims crosses, he can actually quickly throw the ball out quickly for a Man United opportunity. When he makes a save, Onana and Bayindir, when they make a save, normally palm it back into the penalty box for the opposition striker to tap it in. When he makes a save, it goes out of play. He's not quite looking like a set-piece liability, and if we're better on set pieces, if we're claiming crosses, if we're having less shots on goals, and if he does make a save and he pushes it away, there's less tap-ins. The amount of goals we conceded last season because Onana palmed it to the opposition's player to tap it in, I think that happened versus Everton, for example. And all of these little things that Lamont brings to Manchester United is going to make the players more confident, and those little things could improve us. Again, it's a one-game sample size. We might be sitting here in 6 months saying Lamont is not good enough. But we're going off his debut, we're going off what players have said about him, and that's really positive. 3 shots faced, 2-0 win, 1 clean sheet, 1 man of the match, 2 crosses claimed. When he saved it, he pushed it out the danger zone. Distribution, I think his kicks were all right. I think that's probably the weaker part of his game, but it was good. Took the pressure off players. Now, things to mention, he is young. This is one game. Goalkeepers make mistakes, and when he does, do not turn on him. He could make a mistake in the next game. He could make a mistake in 4 or 5 games' time. The minute he makes a mistake, as a fan base, we've got to get behind him. Goalies make mistakes. The amount of mistakes that Onana and Bayindir made was nearly every game, and that was costly. But goalies make mistakes. The best of goalies make mistakes, and Le Mans will make mistakes. And when he does make mistakes, we get behind him. If he makes consistent mistakes and is consistently poor, we say, you know what, we need a more experienced keeper, and he's very young. And that is fair. He's a £17 million signing. He's not on a load of wages. That would be the plan in the summer. If he doesn't look ready by the summer, we'll get an experienced keeper in, and that's fine. He can be backup. He can learn. You know, he's a young player. You know, goalkeepers come in a lot later on than outfield players. And this is Man United. You can be a good player and you can be a good goalkeeper and you can come to Manchester United, but the pressure here is crazy. So this is Man United. The pressure here is the pressure here as a goalkeeper is crazy. So he can be a good player, but sometimes a different mentality is needed to be a good player at United. You know, Onana was a good player. He came to United, he struggled because the minute he made a mistake, he was under the spotlight. He was trying too hard. He was making more mistakes, and the confidence impacted his mentality. Le Mans, you know, if he's not feeling confident, if he has a bad spell, it's how he bounces back. He's only 23, but there's a mental side to being a United keeper. You can be a great player, but mentally you're going to overthink everything at United, because if you're Jordan Pickford and you make a mistake, no one's going to say anything. If you're Senne Lammens and you make a mistake, it's all over the media. If he makes a mistake in one of his first 10 games for Man United, it will be everywhere. If the Sunderland keeper made a mistake, they wouldn't say a word about it. There's a different mentality you have to have when playing for Manchester United, because you will be under the spotlight. In regards to Lammens, he seems to be really impressing. Solly said this 2 days ago, and Pete Hall was pretty much said the same thing as Solly, and he said that several sources within United are yet to hear a bad word uttered about Senne Lammens. One source has said he is the first one to training, the last one out. He does extra sessions all the time too, whether that's working on his distribution or other things, but a lot of good things have been said about him, how he's first into training, last one out, putting that extra effort in. And it was also said by Chris Wheeler and Nathan Salt the other week that inside the squad, Lammens has already left an impression on a number of players, notably Tom Heaton. Tom Heaton actually said on Lammens that he's calm, but he has a strong personality. His goalkeeping fundamentals are impressive, and I think I said that to him after a couple of days. But even before he played a match in training, he had caught the eye of Manchester United players, and he'd impressed Manchester United players, which is great to see. Now, we just spent 7 minutes talking about Le Mans, but I do want to talk about a few other Manchester United stories going about. This was said by Solly that Jim Thwaites has trained with the first team last Friday. He's seen as one of the best technical talents in Manchester United. One source compared his playing style to that of Barcelona's Pedri. This was said by Solly, who's got good links to the academy and the team and what's going on with injuries. Jim Thwaites, we know that Jack Fletcher's also trained with the first team. We know that Shea Lacey's trained with the first team. There's a few youngsters training in and around the first team, because we're not in Europa League, because we're not in the EFL Cup. I think if there's going to be opportunities for youngsters, it will come in January, it will come in 2026. But a few youngsters are training with the squad, and United are also really trying to get JJ Gabriel to be tied down to a longer term deal. And Jim Thwaites is very, very highly rated, and I'm sure we'll be talking about him in the future. It was also said by Sam C reports that Diego Leon is doing very well. Nothing flashy, nothing alarming, just steady and professional at his time at Paddington. Casemiro is one of the players that's like a mentor to Diego Leon, and those close to the player saying he's enjoying the experience of being at United. Man United want Diego Leon to settle in. They're not going to play him unless there's an injury crisis. Again, he's a player that's more likely to play for us in 2026. They want to settle him in, throw him in the under-21s and see how he does. Talking of United Academy, United's head of academy recruitment, Luke Fedorenko, will leave the club. Now he's going to work with a football agency, which is a shame because he helped recruit a lot of players for the academy. And I think the one thing the club has done well since Sir Alex Ferguson left, and the only thing is academy recruitment, and he was a big part of that. So it's a shame to lose someone like him from Manchester United. But listen, people, it's the international break. I know the news isn't crazy heavy at the moment, but I did try and do a 10-minute news roundup. But yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy today's video. Feel free to hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Let me know your thoughts down below. And also, I want to clarify, I'm not trying to make out that Le Mans is the answer and an overhyped Le Mans. I'm just trying to be positive and say, look, really good debut. From what we're hearing from the players, inside sources about training, lots of positive things about Le Mans. And if he keeps this up, it could be a great signing, but who knows. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.